Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Have you ever looked up at a star-filled sky and felt a deep, almost haunting sense of emptiness? I'm not talking about loneliness here on Earth. I'm talking about the fact that in a universe with at least 100 billion galaxies, each packed with hundreds of billions of stars, the sky should be bustling with activity. We should be picking up alien radio signals, spotting massive megastructures around distant suns, or even finding the debris of interstellar probes in our own solar system. But we don't. The cosmos is eerily, profoundly silent. This is the Fermi paradox, and it asks a simple question that should terrify everyone. Where is everybody? It's not just a casual wonder. It's a logical sledgehammer, and the more we learn about the universe, the louder that silence screams. Today, we're going to explore the most spine-chilling explanations for this great cosmic quiet, and honestly, some of them might change the way you see the night sky forever. To understand the weight of this paradox, we have to go back to 1950. The brilliant physicist Enrico Fermi was having lunch with colleagues at Los Alamos, and they were chatting about a recent wave of UFO sightings. The conversation drifted to the possibility of faster-than-light travel, but Fermi suddenly blurted out, "But where is everybody?" He wasn't dismissing the idea of aliens. Had done the math in his head. Our sun is a pretty typical star, and it's relatively young at about 4.5 billion years old. But there are countless stars out there that are billions of years older. If just one intelligent civilization arose in that vast ocean of time and developed the capability for interstellar travel, even at very modest speeds, it could colonize the entire galaxy in just a few million years. That's the blink of an eye on cosmic timescales. By all rights, the galaxy should already be teeming with advanced life, man. Their presence should be blatantly obvious, so the fact that we see nothing, hear nothing, and find no evidence of them becomes a deep, unsettling problem. At the heart of this paradox is a concept called the Great Filter. The idea is simple. For life to go from a simple molecule to a star-spanning civilization, it has to pass through a series of critical steps. The origin of life itself, the leap to complex cells, the development of intelligence, the creation of technology, and the step of reaching out into the cosmos. The Great Filter is the theory that at least one of these steps is so incredibly difficult, so catastrophically rare, that it eliminates virtually everything trying to pass through. The real nightmare fuel here is wondering where that filter is. Is it safely behind us, meaning we're one of the precious few who made it? Or is it lurking ahead, waiting to destroy us as it has countless others before? If the filter is in our past, that's actually the optimistic scenario. It would mean that the step from non-living chemistry to life might be incredibly rare. Maybe Earth's specific blend of conditions, a stable sun, a large moon to stabilize our tilt, plate tectonics, a magnetic field is a 1 in a trillion jackpot. Or perhaps the jump from simple single-celled life to complex life with a nucleus is the near impossible hurdle. On Earth, that leap took over 1 billion years. If that's the Great Filter, then simple bacterial slime might be everywhere, but nothing else exists. In that case, we could be the only intelligent species in our galaxy, or even in our local group of galaxies. We would be a lonely, miraculous fluke, and the silence makes perfect sense. While that's a heavy thought, it's still a hopeful one because it means we've already survived the hardest part. But now let's flip that coin. What if the Great Filter is not behind us, but straight ahead? This is the truly terrifying possibility. It would mean that life emerges and even develops intelligence relatively easily, but then something happens. Something that resets the clock every single time. Every budding civilization hits a wall that it almost never passes. And we need to ask ourselves a very hard question. Are we running headfirst toward that same wall right now? The nature of such a filter could be many things. It could be technological self-destruction, like nuclear war, a bioengineered pandemic that slips out of a lab, or an uncontrollable artificial intelligence that exceeds our grasp. It could also be an ecological filter. Maybe every intelligent species eventually burns through its planet's resources or destabilizes its climate to the point of total collapse before it can become a multiplanetary species. Look at what we're doing right now with carbon emissions and habitat destruction. We're running in planetary fever, and we haven't even left our cradle yet. If this is the pattern across the universe, then the silence we hear is not just emptiness. It's a graveyard. The stars are silent because everyone before us failed. So here's a question for you to chew on. Do you think the Great Filter lies in our past, meaning we are an incredibly rare and precious fluke? Or does it lie in our future, a terrifying barrier that might explain why the cosmos is so quiet? I genuinely want to know your thoughts, so drop them in the comments below. Of course, not all explanations for the Fermi paradox are this grim. Some are far stranger and don't invent filters at all. One of the most intriguing is the zoo hypothesis. Imagine for a moment that a highly advanced galactic society does exist, millions of years older than us. To them, we would look like a bizarre little ant colony just starting to use tools. Instead of interfering, they might have cordoned off our entire solar system as a kind of cosmic nature reserve. They watch us from afar with a strict non-interference prime directive, waiting until we reach a certain level of maturity. Their probes and monitoring stations could be utterly invisible to our current technology, like hiding a documentary camera crew behind a one-way mirror in the jungle. In that case, the science is not a sign of our loneliness, but of our ignorance. We're just the uncontacted tribe of the Milky Way, blissfully unaware that the galaxy around us is a bustling metropolis. Then Turi's the dark forest theory, which takes the terror to a whole new level. Popularized by author Liu Cixin, it treats the universe like a dark and dangerous forest. Every civilization is a silent hunter, creeping through the trees. The most fundamental law of survival in this forest is to stay hidden. If you make noise, if you broadcast your location, you are instantly destroyed by another hunter who sees you as a potential future threat. In a cosmos where communication is slow and trust is impossible, the only logical move to ensure long-term survival is a preemptive strike, wiping out any emergent intelligence before it can wipe you out. Under this theory, we should be utterly horrified by our own radio and television transmissions, which have been leaking into space for over a century. That expanding bubble of our presence might be a giant kick-me sign on our solar system, and the silence we hear is just the tension before the arrow is fired by a civilization that has been hiding much better than we have. Another unsettling possibility is that we're simply not listening correctly, but in a much more alien way than you might think. We search for radio signals, laser pulses, and Dyson spheres because that's what our technology and physics tell us to look for. But what if advanced life transcends biology and physical matter altogether? Maybe they've uploaded their consciousness into a simulated reality, a perfect digital heaven far more interesting than the cold, harsh external universe. Why bother with messy interstellar colonization and the energy costs of megastructures when you can live in an infinite paradise of your own design, powered by a single star's energy siphoned efficiently? In that scenario, the universe is quiet because any civilization advanced enough to be heard is already gone, tucked away into perfect, invisible digital cocoons where the external universe simply doesn't matter anymore. Finally, Turi's the humbling possibility that we are simply not as smart or as perceptive as we think. Imagine an anthill in the middle of a busy highway. The ants have no concept of the cars, the radio waves, the music, or the conversations happening just feet away. Their entire reality is limited to their scale and senses. We might be in a similar position. A hyper-advanced civilization could be moving through our galaxy using physics we haven't even begun to discover, leaving messages in a medium we cannot perceive and moving at scales we don't observe. To them, we might not even register as life. The silence, then, isn't a sign of absence, it's a sign of our profound childish limitation. The question of the great silence will not let go of us, and maybe that's a good thing. As we aim our telescopes and listening dishes at the eye, we're really holding up a mirror to ourselves. Are we destined to be a fleeting spark, another failed experiment that fizzles out before it can yell to the heavens? Or are we the rarest flower in existence, the inheritors of a nearly empty galaxy with a moral duty to spread life and consciousness further than it has ever gone? The universe is either empty, teeming, or incomprehensibly more complex than we can fathom. And every quiet night, every silent star, is a reminder that the answer is still out there, waiting. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel for more interesting videos.